Sarova Stanley has been existing since 1902, so it's 120 years for the moment. We say new hotels are coming in Nairobi, but we have a well-kept property and are still to tell.
The Sarova Stanley is rated amongst the best 5-star hotels in Nairobi, situated in Nairobi's central business district.
This is 120 revolving door, which was plucked from the first hotel when it was burning down back in 1905.
The story of the Sarova Stanley begins with Mayans Bent as the original founder, and in 1902, the first hotel cum guest house opened its doors in Nairobi. In 1904, Nairobi was rocked by the Great Fire of Victoria Street, which destroyed the hotel.
An accidental fire took place in 1905, which arrested the whole building. And when the hotel was burning, the 120 revolving door was plucked from the hotel. So as the wooden staircase is heading to first floor for future business.
Mayans, with her fierce determination, moved her guests to a temporary location until finally she set up a new premises for the Stanley Hotel.
1907, she parted ways with the first husband by the name Stanley and married a new husband in 1909. So in 1911, they started building a new hotel which was 10 times bigger, 6 rooms on this side. It was complete for business in 1915 and with the new husband Ted. So they did some touch-ups in 1938, 1939 on renovations. So in 1947, Mama passed the baton to the second owner. Abraham Lazarus Block took over, led the business up to 1958-59, did some touch-ups of renovations, and did final renovation in 1976 when he passed the baton to Sarova Group of Hotels.
Named after his 3 wives, Sarova Stanley is home to adventurers, seekers, writers, artists, and celebrities.
Sarova is basically a brand for a name of the 3 wives of the shareholders. That's wife to the 2 brothers. SA stands for Sauna, wife to the late Mr. M.S. Vora. RO stands for the late Rose Wanjiku Kariuki, wife to Honorable John Gata Kariuki. And VA stands for Vasha, wife to the late chairman, Mr. Gucharan Singh Vora. So Sarova has been in the business from 1978, but the first hotel basically is Sarova Ambassador, which was purchased in 1974, and we sold it in 1998, 97, 98, when we bought Panafric, which is our second city property in Nairobi. It was also perceived that you could go to the rooftop of the building and see the 2 peaks of Mount Kenya, that is Lenana and Batian. You could also see the peak of Mount Kilimanjaro while on the top. It was actually renamed a luxurious living within the city, whereby a luxurious living within a lion roll, whereby you could hear a lion rolling from Nairobi National Park. It was also perceived, Stanley was also perceived to be a hotel where the tradition of the past was still alive, bearing in mind pinning of the messages on the country, which we'll talk about it in a short while.
The new hotel thrived and garnered a widespread reputation by hosting people of high caliber.
So apart from the 2 locations and the 3 owners, the 3rd cluster we talk about, the Sarova Stanley, is people who are patronized. Most of the bottom people who are patronized here is the Queen. She came in to the Sarova Stanley as a guest, spent a night in the hotel. She woke up the following morning and forgot her hat inside out in the room, which is a sign of bad omen as per the English culture. And indeed, when she went to central Kenya, while touring there, a message came from home that her father had passed on. So she had to cut the trip short to come to the Stanley. Was hosted by the mayor of Nairobi, Mayor Gregory, for a luncheon at the Sarova Stanley in a room called the Churchill Ballroom, on our way proceeding home. This is the second family planting the first tree, the first Nairobi post office tree back in 1959. And later, Mama, when she parted ways with the first husband, she still maintained the name because this gentleman was commissioned by the British East Africa to come and locate Dr. David Livingstone. This man was totally against the slave trade during this time. He met the Horde man in a small village in Tanzania called Ujiji back in 1871, persuaded the Horde man to go back to London for treatment, but he said no, he was to die in Africa. We've also hosted Obama when he came into the country on his way to Mombasa as a tourist and had lunch in the country. We've also hosted various African presidents. We've hosted San Nunyoma, the founding father of the Republic of Namibia. We've hosted the late KK, that's Kenneth Kaunda, who stayed with us several times. You could occupy a room called Karen Blixen Suites and the Times could go to the presidential when Karen Blixen Street was occupied. We hosted the current president of the Republic of Djibouti by the name President Omar. I remember when he came for the first time, he stayed with us and he inquired whether we had a bidet. And that message got us. When he came for the second time, the same was sourced and fixed, that we have to go with the current times. Yeah? And we've also hosted Richard Branson in our presidential suite. We've also hosted Richard Quest, the CNN business anchor. We've also hosted various Congolese musicians, Kambasele Mpanya, Pepe Kale, the famous big man, used to reside and take mostly one of the floors with a contingent coming to perform in Nairobi. We've also hosted Papa Blues, Kofi Olomide. We've also hosted Kanda Bogoman, the king of Kwasa Kwasa. We've also hosted the former president's wife, that's Graça Machel, president wife to Nelson Mandela. We've also hosted Tony Blair's wife as well. We've also hosted the different artists from different part of the world during the promotions done by Citizen TV by the name Coke Studio. All these musicians, like Nafali Pupa, they could come and reside with us during the time. Apart from that, we have different occasions which have taken place here. We have two brothers who came on a hunting expedition back in 1922, and that is Brown and Charles. When they came into the country, they came for hunting and did safari, and one of them was tossed and killed by an elephant. That is, Brown was killed, and Charles had to partner with some few tycoons in Nairobi to come up with the East African breweries, and that's how the first 10 crates of Tusker beer were served at the Stanley in a bar connecting both streets. That is the Kenyatta Avenue and the Sanders Street, far end of the hotel. It used to be called Long Bar, and that's one of the longest bars we had in the world. We've also hosted people who came to celebrate after the end of the Second World War, 1945. A posh bar, this one here. This bar is also historical, and basically this bar has been patronized by a gentleman who walked all the way from Cape Town to Cairo in 2 years through walking. He did walking. When he reached Nairobi, he had to come to this bar and eat and drink at this bar, and that is no one else other than Howard Grogan, who later married Gertrude and settled down in the country.
It is also very well located for quick access to areas such as the Nairobi National Park, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, JKIA, and Wilson Airport.
Yeah, we also have the landmarks of the lobby. Apart from 120 revolving door, we have a black and white marble, which is the kind of marble which was being used during the Victorian age. Stanley basically has got a big history in connection with the first construction of the first lunatic express railway line, which started in Mombasa in 1896 and reaching Nairobi in 1899, and Port Elizabeth, Kisumu, in 1901, which was prophesied by a Kamba prophetess by the name Syokimau. She said, there will come some people of color who will come using a metallic snake. And it came to pass that the railway line brought in the first two owners of Sarova Stanley. That's Madame, my husband, and the Block family, after the railway was complete back in 1901.
Walking through the Sarova Stanley, every corner hosts stunning black with white portraits representing a journey through time.
And the phone is kind of phone which were being used during the Victorian age. This kind of phone is our house phone, and it is working. If you so wish to use it, this is how to use it. You lift the receiver, bring it to your ear, and then if there's an incoming call, that's how you communicate. You can also dial an extension of your friend's room, and you can communicate without any problems. It has a dialing tone. This kind of phone is adored and liked by most of the guests coming to the Sarova Stanley. The core of Sarova Stanley goes back to the Victorian age. When the Stanley was coming up is during the time when the famous Queen of England by the name Victoria was leaving office. And basically the decor is basically or simply Victorian age decor. There's only one hotel with the same decor as the Stanley, and that is Savoy Hotel in England. If you go to the lobby, you'll find the same decor. You'll think that we are the Stanley. Black and white marble, the green color, and basically we also touch on during that era that Stanley was done when we had no issue with the space. So we have the most spacious rooms at the Stanley. Stanley was also done when we had no issue with cutting trees. So we have a lot of wooden decorations at our lobby because it was no issue cutting trees. So the kind of wooden decoration we have in the lobby is basically a sign of warmth. the room where the Queen was hosted for luncheon back 1952 when she cut the trip short in central Kenya, treetops to Nairobi. Was hosted here by the mayor of Nairobi, Mayor Gregory, before proceeding home to go and bury our father. And this is basically where we have the summary of the Sarova Stanley history. These are the kind of balconies which most of the buildings had during that time. We have 3 sections of the same in the hotel, one next to the main door, the other one in the first floor, and a painting done by Stanley in memory of the same. Next is a picture of the Stanley, the way it looked like in 1923. This is Stanley in 1945. A lot of people came to celebrate the end of Second World War in those early years. So this chain are still on the Stanley on the other wing. Most of the building done during the Victorian age, we could have the canopy supported by the chains. This is how Stanley looked like in 1950. No much traffic, few bicycles, few cars, and like nowadays where we have a Greek lock of traffic in Nairobi.
The luxury of this heritage hotel delivers a wondrous old-world charm whilst offering modern facilities and legendary service.
Stanley has earned various awards over the years, and it attaches with the 2 things: Kenya's leading heritage hotel and Kenya's leading business hotel. So this is a preferred choice for any guest who is traveling over the world and he is interested in connecting with the history. And business people coming to Nairobi will always admire the place. We have what is needed in place to keep business people on tours and at peace when they're in Nairobi doing the traversing of our location is also key, basically when it comes to that. Because when that our location and people who are going to various business offices here and there, it touches on the same because they can easily pop into a restaurant and get a meal. We have a choice of restaurant which caters for that. Like Tai Chi here is a place you can come and within 25 minutes you have, the meal is ready. You are fed within half an hour, 45 minutes, you are gone. Our heritage makes us unique, and that's the reason why you see in our logo we have Sarova Stanley, a story to tell since 1902 Nairobi. We actually moving to a direction of just having Stanley as a totally an heritage hotel.
The unique experience is replete with indoor and outdoor restaurants, a rooftop swimming pool, courtyard and glamorous jazz bar, and also conferencing and banqueting facilities.
Any guest staying in the hotel, they have a free Wi-Fi. We have our business center. Anybody who would like to print and work, do their work, we have a business center which is run, and our reception and the 1902 Club Lounge, which is the newest facility, is also a nice place you can at least access. We have a new facility called 1902 Club Lounge. The 1902 Club Lounge is a relaxing place, is a working place, is a place you can also entertain your guests. Is at a small fee you pay for. Basically, we have what we call the club room supplement, whereby guests staying in our club room rooms all the way to the presidential, because we have 162 normal standard rooms. We call them the standard rooms. We have 28 club rooms. Those are more or less like a good place you can work from. We have 19 business suites. We have 2 heritage suites, and we have 1 presidential suite. All guests staying from club rooms all the way to the presidential, they can access the club lounge. Being a relaxing place, being a working place, we have a boardroom whereby if you would like to converge their capacity nowadays due to COVID-19 is around 6 packs who can sit in the club lounge and work from there. And we give them 2 hours complimentary. You can project whatever you want to project using your computer. We have an electronic screen, and it's an amazing place. We also have a small fee whereby if you need to occupy the same place, the boardroom, for half a day, we do it for at least 3 hours at $300. 3 to 4 hours, that's half a day. And a full day is $700, that's around 70,000 shillings. That's also a place we serve minimum breakfast for people staying with us. It's a place they can invite their own guests, but you pay for the refreshments you undertake. We do what we call benchmarking so that we can enhance our services and ensure that we are meeting the clientele expectations at any given time. Our target is to exceed our guests' expectations, not only to meet, so that at least they go come back. Any guest who has stayed at the Stanley and have ate services at the Stanley, we always endeavor to come back.
Sarova Stanley is a perfect haven for both business and leisure travelers.
We have several spacious rooms in the hotel for our guests to hold the wedding ceremonies and what have you. Being a business hotel, we more or less like have some people who can come to our restaurants for dinner and maybe to celebrate some certain occasions like birthday parties. We have a nice pool deck restaurant in level 5 whereby people could come and get allocated and enjoy themselves.
A towering acacia tree was planted into the hotel's design in 1958.
Stanley is currently located on the junction of Kenyatta Avenue and Kimathi Street. Kimathi used to be called the Hardage Street. This is Stanley in 1980. After renovations touching in 1976, it was named New Stanley. And that's the tree which was planted in 1959, being regarded to be the first Nairobi post office, and was uprooted when we did some major renovations, which we started in 1996 to 1998 to plant a second tree, and a capsule was dug in there.
It was on this tree's trunk that residents and tourists alike would post small messages for each other.
The tree is regarded to be the first Nairobi post office up to date, because people come and do some messages, but unlike the old days when they used to pin on the tree trunk, they are now pinned on a nicely done board by Sarova. Ethiopian crews used to reside in the hotel in those early years. That's back in 1980s. We used to also host the British Airlines. That's the British Airways crew used to reside with us in those early years.
The Exchange Bar has deep honeycomb leather sofas combined with rich crafted mahogany wood and original palm ceiling fans, which make you feel as though you've stepped back through the years.
The green color was commonly used during the Victorian age. Initially, like when we did innovations back in 1999, most of our reception staff used to dress in light green top and a black tall dress. A lot of people fear coming to the Stanley, but you don't need to fear coming to the Stanley. Stanley is the place to be. We are friendly, we are pocket friendly. And anybody coming to the Stanley is not that when we are serving breakfast down there, going for around 2,500 shillings, Kenya money, which is equivalent to more or less like $25, that if you come, you can only be forced to eat breakfast. We have varieties of choice. You can always opt to have a cup of tea and some snack at affordable rates. So some case applies to accommodation part of it. Accommodation part of it is very reasonable. We have what we call the best available rate for the day, touching on the levels of occupancies we have. And basically, we have deal rooms whereby they go at reasonable rates. We also have these deal rooms. You can come during daytime and maybe occupy a room and get served with some additionals. We have some people also coming here to do some massage. We have some people who are coming here to who are registered with us on to become Health Club members, and the rates are very much reasonable. We have group rates for being a gym member. We have reasonable rates for accommodation. We have reasonable rates for our drinks, reasonable rates for our meals as well.
At Stanley, they strive to provide guests with an experience that's beyond all expectations.
The kind of clientele we have at Stanley is amazing. We have very positive feedback on our TripAdvisors, touching on the services we offer. A lot of our clientele, the kind of clientele we have here, we have people coming for leisure, maybe coming to do tours in Nairobi. We have people coming for business. We have people coming, we have some corporate kind of business. Some people who are coming to work for some institutions like banks, institutions like NGOs being opened up in Nairobi. And the feedback is amazing. Anybody who has stayed at the Stanley will always leave Stanley and they say, I will always come to the Stanley. Why? Because of the staff and the kind of service they get here. And our facilities are amazing. I'll take this opportunity to welcome you guys at any given time and to welcome anybody coming to Nairobi for business, anybody coming to Nairobi for leisure, anybody coming to Nairobi for any event, maybe some big conferences, especially when the KICC is packed. We are ready to welcome all the guests and give them a memorable service. We call them an African refreshing hospitality. That's how we call it in Sarova Stanley.